Imagine finishing lunch and feeling a burp approaching. Normally, this is a tiny administrative task. Open the upper hatch, release one pocket of air, continue pretending to be civilized. But in space, that simple burp can arrive carrying stomach liquid and partly digested food with it. So the claim that you cannot burp in space is not quite literal. Your body can still perform the motions. The problem is that it cannot reliably produce a normal, dry burp. Instead, you risk something astronauts call a wet burp, which is a polite phrase for lightly vomiting into your own mouth. To understand why, picture your stomach as a badly managed bottle of salad dressing. On Earth, gravity organizes the contents. Dense liquids and food settle lower in the stomach. Gas is much less dense, so buoyancy pushes it upward. After a meal, you can end up with a pocket of gas sitting above a churning swamp of lunch. When pressure stretches the upper stomach, the lower esophageal sphincter can briefly relax. That is, the muscular valve between the stomach and the esophagus. Gas escapes through it, travels upward, and exits through the mouth. That is a burp. A controlled gas leak from a warm biological lunch bag. Gravity does not create the burp. Muscles and pressure do that. Gravity performs the important sorting beforehand. It helps put the gas near the exit while keeping the heavier material farther away. Now take the same stomach into orbit. People often say there is no gravity on the International Space Station, but gravity is definitely there. At the station's altitude, Earth's gravitational pull is still strong. The station, the astronauts, their stomachs, and the small cube of spinach hiding behind a laptop are all continuously falling around Earth together. Because everything falls together, astronauts feel weightless. This is called microgravity. Inside the stomach, the usual buoyant separation almost disappears. Gas bubbles are no longer pushed toward one dependable top. Liquids do not settle into one dependable bottom. The salad dressing bottle has been shaken, then informed that it no longer has a correct way up. The gas may remain scattered through the stomach contents as bubbles. Surface tension, stomach movements, and contact with the stomach wall can still shift things around, so the contents do not become a perfectly uniform soup. But there is no stable upper gas pocket waiting neatly beside the esophagus. If you enjoy explanations where the science is solid and everything else looks structurally uncertain, subscribe to Badly Drawn Answers. This loss of sorting is the entire problem. The stomach can still squeeze, the esophageal sphincter can still relax, pressure can still push material toward the mouth. But when the exit opens, the body cannot be sure it is collecting only gas. It is like trying to remove air from a shaken bottle by opening it near your face. Technically, the air does come out. It has simply formed a small committee with the liquid. Astronaut Chris Hadfield has described the result very plainly. If you try to burp while weightless, you may throw up a little bit. Other descriptions use phrases such as wet burp or chunky bubbles, neither of which has improved space tourism brochures. Carbonated drinks make the situation worse. On Earth, opening a soda lowers the pressure in the container. Dissolved carbon dioxide comes out of the liquid and forms bubbles. After you drink it, more carbon dioxide can leave the liquid inside your stomach. The gas rises, gathers at the top, and eventually requests permission to leave. In microgravity, those bubbles do not rise in the usual way. They can remain mixed through the drink and stomach contents. This makes the beverage feel less pleasantly fizzy, while also giving the astronaut more gas to deal with. NASA experimented with special cola dispensers during the Space Shuttle era. Coca-Cola and Pepsi products were tested in orbit in the 1980s, using containers designed to control the drink in weightlessness. The result proved that humans could transport soda into space, an achievement humanity had apparently decided was urgent. But carbonated drinks never became standard space beverages. Without refrigeration, the soda could also be warm. Without normal buoyancy, it behaved strangely. And after drinking it, an astronaut faced the possibility of a damp return visit. That does not mean digestion stops in space. Fortunately, your digestive tract is not a drain pipe that relies on food falling downward. Swallowing uses coordinated muscles to move food through the esophagus. Waves of muscular contraction, called peristalsis, push and mix material through the stomach and intestines. These contractions work in different body positions on Earth, and they continue working in microgravity. Otherwise, every astronaut would need to eat while standing over a diagram labeled "This way to Earth." The stomach still churns food with acid and digestive enzymes. Its contents still pass through the pylorus into the small intestine. Nutrients and much of the water are still absorbed. Muscular contractions continue moving what remains along the digestive tract. Gas that does not escape through the mouth can also move into the intestines. Some digestive gases are produced there by microbes breaking down carbohydrates. Some gas can be absorbed through the intestinal wall. The rest eventually looks for the other available exit. So yes, astronauts can fart in space. Hadfield has said that he farted more while weightless because gas could not leave as a normal burp. That is useful first-hand experience, although it should not be treated as a precise law applying equally to every astronaut, every meal, and every unfortunate serving of beans. Either way, passing gas still works because it depends mostly on pressure and muscle contractions, not on gas rising toward a particular end of the body. The lower digestive tract already has a clear route outward. It does not need gravity to point at the door. The smell does not shoot an astronaut across the cabin like a tiny digestive rocket. The amount of expelled gas is too small, and the astronaut is usually touching, holding, or secured to something anyway. It also does not float forever as one visible cloud of regret. The station's ventilation system constantly circulates and filters cabin air. In a spacecraft, moving air is essential because warm air and exhaled carbon dioxide do not rise naturally either. Without fans, pockets of stale air could collect around equipment or around a sleeping astronaut's face. So the same missing buoyancy that ruins a clean burp also affects cooling, fire, water systems, and the air people breathe. Spacecraft engineers spend a remarkable amount of effort replacing jobs that gravity performs for free on Earth. Pumps move liquids, fans move air. Special containers use surface tension to control drinks and fuel. Toilets use airflow rather than expecting waste to fall obediently into a bowl. The human stomach, however, did not arrive with a NASA-designed gas separator. Could an astronaut create a normal burp by producing artificial gravity? In principle, acceleration could provide a direction that separates denser liquid from lighter gas. A rotating spacecraft could do this continuously. An astronaut might also briefly create a useful direction by spinning or accelerating, although turning a minor stomach complaint into an improvised carnival ride would not be the preferred medical procedure. Standing on your head on Earth is sometimes suggested as a demonstration. It is not a perfect copy of microgravity because gravity is still sorting the stomach contents. It is simply sorting them toward an inconvenient end. Still, it may demonstrate why body position affects whether a burp remains respectable. The biggest misunderstanding is that astronauts somehow lose the muscular ability to belch. They do not. What they lose is the quiet piece of physics that prepares a burp before it happens. On Earth, gravity has spent your entire life tidying your stomach into rough layers. Gas upstairs, lunch downstairs. You open the door, and usually only the upstairs tenant leaves. In orbit, the building has no upstairs. The door still opens. Everyone just arrives at once.